Hello and welcome to SquishiVision SquishiVision. This is my live reaction video to Picard Impossible Box, where after I watch episode, I give my immediate thoughts on what has occurred, um, without any kind of. There's no structure to this. I've not had a chance to think about it. I've not written anything. This is just my immediate thoughts. Also, slightly different this week in that it's not immediately after I watched the episode because I actually watched it yesterday, and then immediately after I had to go bike off for a game of Traveller. So I actually have a chance to do my review straight afterwards to refresh my mind. However, I still think I remember enough that I can do this now. I'm just gonna move my webcam real quick because my cat headbutted it off the yeah. My cat headbutted my webcam off my well because it's currently where it's standing on. Um, so yeah. Anyway, first of all, how wholesome was Hugh and Picard's reunion or Re-hugh-nion, as I've nicked off Star Trek shit posting, which is probably nicked off somewhere else to be honest. And the new Trek, and I think possibly rightfully so, often has a more kind of serious tone to it and a more kind of pragmatic and perhaps cynical tone to it. And whether or not it's different from Star Trek of ye old times, and that's kind of rubbed off people the wrong way. I think the reason they've gone for it is because this is a Star Trek the writers have felt that we need at this time, and I can see that, and possibly that is correct. So amongst all this kind of cynical such as we're getting, the sheer joy of how happy Hugh was to see Picard and the genuineness of that was, in my mind, so heartwarming to watch, and I loved that bit so much. Just that moment and how willing he was to like help unconditionally was like really nice because like everyone else who's currently with Picard now has a secret agenda. He was the first person Picard has met. Actually, I think out of all this series, who's helped him generally because they were friends. Um, so I like that. The episode was a nice kind of culmination of the plot points leading up to it. I like how they kind of dealt with it quite efficiently and quick on the Borg cube, which makes sense because that's a Borg for you, efficient and quick. Um, didn't waste any more time than it was needed. The sequence between Narek and Soji, going through the memory was, I think, really well done. I love Narek as an actor. I think he captures the lines he has to portray very very well and expresses them. Um, so I think he really sold that scene. And also him and Sergio have very good chemistry, so that's nice to watch. Um, Van Keen, I like how as soon as he got the answers he needs, he immediately then betrays her and makes it open about that. And we don't go through the whole um, cloak and daggerness of it any longer than we have to go about it. I think that was refreshingly quick and efficient. I'll say it again. The box motif was very well threaded through. That's a good bit of writing there. Um, it was the part where they were all kind of. It was tense for me. Oh, I just woke up from a nap. It was tense for me. A kind of time when it was seeing who would reach Soji first between the Romulans and Tal Shiar and Picard, and I'm glad actually because so often in these occasions you have the thing where the protagonist gets so close to the goal and it's snatched away from the last moment just to prolong it. I like how actually they succeeded in rescuing her, although there were consequences from that. And yeah, it was a very well self-contained episode. Because it felt very efficient, even though it was the same amount of time, it didn't really have too much in it. But I think that's a good thing. Um, Oh, and I think the other part, which I think did really well, there's often been this kind of disparity between how Picard reacts towards the Borg. After Best of Both Worlds, the infamous episode where Picard was assimilated. Um, Obviously he was very affected by that, by the events there. And then we have the kind of events of I think the episode Hugh first appears in is called I, Borg. I may be wrong. But the episode that Hugh first appears in and that challenges Picard's kind of viewpoints towards the Borg. And then obviously we get First Contact, which I think is one of my favorite Star Trek films, but still we get Picard going from having the acceptance he learned in I, Borg, if that's indeed a correct episode, to his complete kind of unyielding, fanatic, hatred towards the Borg. Also, there'll be some inconsistency in Star Trek about how permanent or reversible the Borgification process is. We're led to believe that if you're, First Contact makes it seem that if you turn into a Borg, and First Contact is the Star Trek thing which made the Borg into zombies. That was his interpretation of how the Borg were as a plot device and as an enemy. They're effectively sci-fi zombies. They made the whole Borgification process seem very unreversible, despite the fact that Picard was turned into a Borg and then otherwise completely restored back to normal human functionality, apart from a couple of implants were left inside. And obviously then you have Voyager, which Seven's kind of unborgification process is part of a character arc, but still turning into a Borg and turning back from a Borg wasn't the issue, physically anyway. And then we have cases where they literally send crew to they literally send members of the crew to a Borg ship to get Borgified, forgetting how much of a horrific and traumatic ordeal that's meant to be, because they're fully in the knowledge that they can reverse it. This episode kind of helps collate all of that. We have both sides of Picard, but it never jars. He shows how much the trauma of the Borgification process still haunts him and still affects him, and we still see kind of how he regards the Borg as a collective, the same hatred, but then Borgs as an individual. He there's a line where he says, "Thank you for," because the Reclamation Project is kind of saving ex-Borgs. He's like, "Thank you for doing this," because it shows people how much the Borgs are actually a victim, individually at least. I think that kind of helps collate both of the viewpoints, and it also shows kind of a difficulty in unborgifying someone, especially someone who's been a Borg for a long time. And so it kind of implies there's different levels of technology, different people are savable, other people aren't savable, etc. So those are my thoughts. Usually going for about a bit longer this, but I don't have any much more thoughts to go into. I think 7 minutes is a good amount of time, so I'm going to end there. I'm going to try and watch the next episode. I watched the episode yesterday. I was a week behind. I'm going to try and watch the next episode tomorrow. Tuesday? Possibly Tuesday, I think. And then we'll do my next thing there. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.